5 members, because 10 will be too much, so 5 people to sit together. Because when we are going to develop together this 5 days, you will start from the proposal. You have to start from one topic. It's the same topic you will work on all the 5 days. So we want you to group. There are 2 ways to group. Make subject people together, but you don't have uniform number of subject people. If you are going to work on the subject based content, then it's going to be very difficult also. Because like 5 English language means 5 people has to be required. I don't see that uniform number within the group. Only 2 physical education, 1 music. So they all will be left out to create. So what we will do is, we are going to randomly put you into 5 persons. Okay? So we are going, because right now the way you're sitting is like all male into one group, all female into one group, it will go. So we are going to just number it and you will distribute the people into 5 groups. Okay? That's how we are going to make it. And this 5 people will choose some common topics for teacher, for this practice. So that it's a very light topic which can be taken, so that it's a practice. You are not going to come out with a course at the end. It's only to practice, to think along with one way. After sir finishes the session, he'll be giving time for you to prepare proposal. At that time, 5 of you will sit together and think a topic, right? So that like you will think, okay, which topic would be common for everyone to know. Something like that you can think and prepare the proposal. So can I request to count from 1 to 11? So just 1 to 11 and then repeat from again. 1,
2, 3,
4, 5,
6,
7, 8,
9,
10,
11,
yeah, once.
1, 2,
3,
Please note down your numbers.
6,
8,
9,
3, 4, 5,
6, 7,
8, 9, 10, 11.
Please note down your numbers.
1,
2, 2.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8,
9,
10, 11,
1,
3,
4,
5, 6, 7, 8,
10. He has not given the number. One group will, like 11th group will have only 4 members. All other groups will have 5 members. So after this session, you will realign yourself, and from tomorrow onwards you will sit in that group only. Okay, because every time you have to keep working. So the way you need to sit is not like this straight. You are 5 members. So 2 people sit in the front, 3 people sit in the back. So that whenever group work, you will turn the chair to sit together like that. So align yourself so that it's easy. Practical hour you can realign yourself. So sir is there. So that I have to go for the meeting. So after the finish the session, just give them the proposal format. If it has to be mailed to anyone, Menaka will do that. Menaka. Initially they can do it, and then you will do it. During the debrief, even if your session is not completed, you can go for debrief or come and start and continue. By 5 we will wind up. That's all. Sir will share proposal format. You share it. I have been called for the textbook review. So I have to go for it. मैं नहीं वो बस if I don't come 5 come why just
Okay. So thank you, Dr. Angel. And it is very difficult to start the session after the Angel's speech, and particularly talking about the disadvantages. Maybe you are feeling low that why we are going for this session when there is no meaning, or you can say a sense of creating such online courses. But I will start with the point that we should not say disadvantages. Actually, it is limitation. We may move on, or you can say do something as we do with the help of assistive technologies for the persons who are having a special need. So if we are having some limitations somewhere, we can think that how we can overcome those limitations, not to keep low ourselves that okay, what is the meaning of having such courses. Similarly, in our classroom or in our schools, many a times we feel that, okay, students are complaining that, no, we are not having interest in learning. Teacher is not teaching as we think or desire, or the environment, the complete school environment is not up to our, desired level or whatever. So we should think for improvement, that how we can improve the learning environment or whatever we are planning for. So if we are thinking about the online course, we should think how to create a quality online course so that everyone will ask how to join this course, from where I can get access, how to connect to the person who has created that particular online course. So if we can think in that line, not only that everyone will create a quality online course, but at least you will understand how to create a quality online course. And the very first point is from where we have to start this discussion is that we have to plan. Even for a small thing, if we are not planning, we cannot improve or we cannot get the desired results. So we have to plan. And why we are planning? Because after listening so many limitations, so many discussions on online courses, without planning, without thinking, we cannot create a quality online course. So there are different phases, different steps of creating online course. So we have to think for each and every phase or step, that how to plan for that. Like Angel has given you some keywords to explain online course. Like for example, if I remember correctly what you have said, that it is interaction, it is dialogue, and the very set of instruction. That means what you are planning to do as a teacher. So your instructional strategies, your instructional resources, your activities, students' learning experiences, students' learning outcomes, all these are the key terms. Assessment. Assessment is not in terms of marks. Assessment in terms of the evidences of the progress, learning progress. Sometimes when we talk about assessment, we just think in numbers. No, assessment means evidences. Sometimes if I ask you, have you learned, have you understood the meaning of online courses? You will say either yes word or not even any word, just. This means if I am thinking about assessment by asking such questions, that is meaningless. By asking such questions that have you understood the meaning of online course, and you have said in answer yes or just a behavior or pose, no meaning. What is the evidence? Just write one line, or please stand up and say a few words or explain in your own terms. Then I will understand, okay, yes, you know. So there should be some evidence. So we have to plan for evidence. So that is the meaning, that we have to plan for everything, even for assessment criteria, whether it should be more focused on formative or summative. So then if we want to plan in a systematic way, there are some guidelines, there are some frameworks, there are some models, and those are known as instructional design models. Means there is a proper way to design your teaching learning, your instructional part. So what is that particular framework? What is that particular guideline? We have to first understand that instructional design. Then there are few models based upon different philosophies or approaches, or you can say school of thoughts. So we will take one as an example, to understand the complete process, and then we will understand if we keep or we understand this particular model or framework, then how we can design our online course instructional part in line to that model. So we will go to step by step in understanding the process of designing online course in line with instructional design model. Then we will try to understand the main components or the elements of a proposal. We are not going to develop course here. We are preparing proposal. Okay, so these are the major points which we will try to cover in this particular session. I don't know, maybe in between I have to cut some points because already it is 2:45 and we have to wind up by 5, before 5, and in between there will be short break for tea also, and you have to also take some time for your practice, means to note down some points for proposal, not as a complete proposal, but at least a draft or some outline. Will try my best to do justice with this session. So very first point is, whenever we think about the online course, the very first point is, what do you mean by a course? Just if suppose you go to YouTube or Google or any other website and you download some, or even you just watch some video or access some video and you understand some points there, do you say that this is course? Or if you are a teacher and you are showing some video in the classroom or showing some PPT and you are saying that this is a course? So as you already understood, there are some significant or major elements like planning, objectives, learning outcomes, then instructional strategies, material, assessment, students' engagement, one-to-one communication, and so many things. So it is not just delivery of the material or just accessing the resources. It is more than that. So we have to think for all the points. And another point is, which I have taken from, I think, I'm not remembering the page, but or not as it is, but the essence of that, NEP talks about that teacher or digital teacher. When you think that you are a good teacher or you are the best teacher in your face-to-face mode, but it is not necessary that you will be a good teacher in online mode, because it is a different environment and you need many more skills and many more things to be a good teacher in online mode. So that is why we have to work hard, we have to think in that line, means that the mode is different now. For what we have to plan? We have to plan for the purpose. We have to think about that what is the need or purpose of that, as Dr. Angel discussed in a detailed way, that why we are thinking about the online course for the class 11th and 12th in the school, when there is no meaning of having such courses, because students are not given any credit or they are not having that, you can say, component in their syllabus. So why they will go for that particular course? So there is no need. So you have to understand first, whatever course you are going to create, is it required? Is there any need for that particular course? If there is no need, don't waste your time. But if there is a need, then we should also don't waste others' time to wait. We should start thinking about creating online course. Then we have to think about who will be the target audience. And it is not in number again or the just name, it is their context. Whether they have the exposure before, whether they have the resources at home or at learning place, because everyone cannot join online course, as already discussed, limitations. If suppose in an area where internet is not there, means you have some restrictions, what is the meaning of people asking that you join the course? They cannot join the course. you have to think about some another or alternative options. So you have to think about the target group, that who will be the target group for your particular course. What will be the course outcome? There are two outcomes. One is learning outcomes, another is course outcome. Course outcome is for the whole course, and when you talk about learning outcome, it is related to a particular content. It may be some unit, it may be some topic, it may be sub-unit, or week-wise, whatever structure you are following. So you have to think about both course outcome as a complete course as well as the learning outcomes or objectives. Sometime I will not go into the debate or discussion what is the difference between outcome and objectives. Whatever you understand, if you understand better objective, you write objective. If you understand better outcome, you write outcome. But the point is, both are nowadays in practice. People are writing outcomes also, and people are writing objectives also. So it's you to decide you are writing learning outcomes or objectives. If time permits, I will discuss if you will ask some question related to this point, otherwise I will skip. Then we have to think about the instructional material, resources, how to create learning materials for the students or the target group. Then what should be the activity? Because learning material will not be used in isolation. It will be merged or integrated with some activity. Suppose you want to show some video. So just showing the video, there is no meaning of showing the video. If you don't have any activity related to that, suppose I am teaching in the classroom and it is 40 minutes time and I have shown 30 minutes video and I said, okay, come tomorrow, write some points, whatever you have observed, we will discuss in the classroom. It is the worst teaching. What is the meaning of showing 30 minutes video and saying that you write down the points and come tomorrow? You should have some plan, either to give the overview before the showing the video, to make them understand why you are going to show, watch the video. If it is not required the complete video, then ask them to just focus on 4 minutes or 5 minutes, whatever the duration is important for them. And then ask them to discuss that point, that time only, not the after, you can say, or the next time. So you should have some plan for that, means some activity which integrate that particular resource. So resource is in isolation is not important. Learning material, whatever you will create in isolation is not important until you don't have any activity or learning, you can say, activity to integrate that. So that is why both are important, material as well as activity. And student interaction should be the focus. It is one way if I am showing the video and not asking any or not giving any chance or opportunity to interact with the students. So just showing the video, any other, not only video, any, you can say, resource, if it is not related with the students' dialogue or interaction, again, it is not worthy. So these 3 points are very important: learning materials, learning activities, and learners' engagement or interaction. And this will be the keys, or you can say the main major points or components of any online course for success as well as for failure. Means if in your online course, if you have quality learning material, quality learning activities, and very rich learners engagement or interaction, your course will be successful. If you are not meeting the quality standards, then the course will be as per the means whatever you will prepare the material and will do justice with these 3 points. So then again, assessment and course assessment and certification means what will be the criteria to certify, to give the certification, whether it will be 60-40, 75-25, 50-50, whatever you think. So as per your or if you are the coordinator for a particular institution, then maybe institution will decide that how to certify what will be the criteria, and what will be the platform again, like it will be the Diksha or Swayam or whatever, or your school or KVS maybe, because KVS is already having one website. Maybe I'm not aware whether it is LMS integrated or not, but if it is not, then maybe KVS can plan that, okay, we will have some our own Moodle or a platform to start some online courses. Now we will go to the next point, that is instructional design models. And there are different models, but before that, just to understand that what, I'm not going to discuss with you the definitions of instructional design, because you can read from Google or anywhere. So it is just a kind of essence from the different sources, that what is the meaning of instructional design and what is focus. So again, it is focusing upon strategies, instructional strategies, processes, materials, which again aimed to or aims to facilitate learning. Whatever we do as a teacher, our focus or aim is to facilitate learning. So in instructional design also, whatever you are planning, you are designing, whether it is strategy or process or material or resource, it will be to facilitate learning. And why I am focusing upon this point, because whenever we are thinking in terms of learning, then we can focus on the learner-centered education or pedagogy. So we have to focus upon the learning experiences or the learning part. It is just again repetition of the first point, but in more details or simple words, like it can include the instructional plan, material, selection of learning methods or strategies or assessment. So it is again the same thing. The major points, maybe you are now remembering that major points are materials, processes, strategies, assessment, and like that. This point, I will try to focus on one model and will show you the slides of other instructional design models, just to understand that what is the meaning of that particular model. Maybe sometimes it is a full form, so what are the points, what are the, you can say, what's there. And then we will focus upon one model, that is AD model, in details, and we'll understand how to plan for designing online course materials or online course in line to that instructional design model, that is AD. But before that, there are different, even this list is not complete. If you go to Google or any other, you can say, resource reference, you will get more names also, that there are different other instructional design models, maybe R2, D2, and many more. So the point was only to give you a kind of, you can say, exposure that yes, there are different instructional models. So if I start with Dick and Carey model, it is, it has 10 different parts, means components, and if you just read all the points, you will again get a point that all these are somehow focusing upon 2-3 points majorly. Again, instructional strategies, materials, learner engagement, assessment, like that. All the models will be focusing upon these kind of things. So like for example, to assess need, so every model will start with the analysis, with the need, understanding the need, why we are going to create instructional model, no, not model, instructional material or the course. Then we'll conduct instructional analysis, means to analyze the teaching part or instructional part. Then the learner, to analyze the learner's need, means from where they are coming, what is the background, what is their social or economical, you can say, context. So all these points related to the learners and the environment where this will be used, means where the teaching, learning or instructional will happen. So that context. Then writing or framing the objectives or outcomes, learning outcomes. Then again is assessment instruments, instructional strategies. All these points are repeating. So these points, whether it is in terms of 10 points or 5 points or 3 points, every model is focusing upon majorly the same things. This Morrison, Kemp and Ross model again having 9 elements. So again you can see similar kind of things: task analysis, learner characteristics, instructional objectives, content sequencing means the content analysis, like that. I am cutting short the major, you can say, part of these models because I am thinking about to discuss in detail one model, that is AD. Okay, that is the model. Analyze, design, development, implement and evaluation. Why this model? Because most of the time people are using this model either to create material or the course. Okay, so if we start with this point that we have to understand this model, then just the brief of this model is that whenever you are talking about the analysis part, you are talking about curriculum, content, means topics. You are analyzing the learner, you are analyzing the context, you are analyzing the tasks, and you are also thinking about the assessment. So analysis will include all these major points: curriculum, content, learner, context, assessment. Design, you will design the learning objectives or outcomes. Then you will also think about the experiences in terms of activities and assessment strategies or techniques. You can ask any question in between if you want to ask some questions. I will take pause or stop whenever you are having some queries. Then development means actual development. You are developing the material or the strategies. Similarly, you can also develop assessment items. Then you have to implement means a tryout for a small group, and then if some feedbacks are coming, then you can revise your starting from the planning and design and development. If it is okay, then you can go for final assessment, final evaluation. That means you can think for each and every step of your instructional design steps, and if required you can again revise. So there are 2 ways of assessment here. You can also think for formative means whenever you are designing or creating the material, or even after completing the complete process, and then you can think for evaluating whether it is like when we say that I am creating a material to teach a particular topic or to deal with the class 6, for example. So whether this particular material is up to that level or not, whether this particular material is really covering those you can say content points or not, whether this particular material is actually capturing the, or the, you can say, meeting the objectives or learning outcomes whatever we have designed in the beginning or not. So that kind of questions you can ask when you are thinking about evaluation. I will come to that point in detail also. So when you are thinking about the analysis part, you can start with the need analysis. You can think about the learner's characteristics, their previous knowledge, because whenever you are creating a course or any other material, you have to first think about what they already know, from where I have to start. So previous knowledge or previous understanding you have to keep in mind, and how you will understand, you have to think about the learners. Now it depends upon whether you are creating this online course for your own students or the mass. If you are creating the course for your own, like Spoke, then it will be easier for you because you know your learners. But if you are creating a course for mass, then you have to go for literature review or the studies to understand the characteristics or the, you can say, what other researchers say about this particular group, this particular target group. So then you have, you can say, two ways of understanding the learners. Then you have to think about the curriculum and content, means you are thinking about the topics, subtopics, their sequence, their you can say arrangement. In even for example, you are having 3 subpoints in one unit, then how to arrange them, whether it should be 1, 2, 3 or it should be 1.2, 1.3, 1 like that. So there are many points which you have to keep in mind while you are thinking about the content. It should be hierarchical, it should be sequential, it should be in parallel mode, how to deal with the content. So that point you have to keep in mind, and you have to break your bigger, you can say, unit or the complex concepts into a smaller one so that you can deal easily. Many a times when you talk about the units in online courses, it is difficult for students to comprehend because of their difficulty level. If you have kept the unit as a, you can say, complex one or the, you can say, general one, then it is not easy to comprehend the things because he or she has to read everything at one time, which is not possible. If you are keeping the content is simplest one, then he or she, or if suppose you are having a smallest or simplest content and you are giving one reference or one video or one material to read, then it will be easier for the students or learners to grasp the meaning, and then he or she can go ahead with the another point. But if it is difficult one, if it is complex one, then it may be difficult for students to complete or to comprehend that particular point and then go ahead. So these are the major points. Then context, again, conditions, in which conditions the learning will happen, teaching learning will happen. What are the resources or the infrastructure available at the place? Like, for example, we have discussed in detail while we were discussing the limitations that students or the people are not having the digital devices, internet connections, and many more things. So we have to analyze the context also. Means for the target group, we are creating this online course. So what will be the context when this will be used or that the people will join this course? So that kind of things should be kept in mind while we are analyzing, means the first phase or the first step. Then we can also think for the design, as we discussed earlier, that we will focus upon objectives or outcomes. So if you are thinking about the objectives, then you can refer to Bloom's taxonomy, which is the revised one, and it starts with remember to create. I am not going to detail, means discuss in detail, because you already know all these things. Just to make the reference of this point, that whenever we are thinking about creating the objectives, it should not be in haphazard way. It should be in line with some framework. So one of the framework, one of the model is this Bloom's taxonomy. If you are thinking about the outcomes, then most of the time we say it is not a kind of framework, but most of the time we say that it should be SMART. And we explain is that specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound outcomes, learning outcomes should be framed. So it is just a point to keep in mind while you are creating or you are framing either learning outcomes or learning objectives, that think about either the Bloom taxonomy or SMART framework, you can say. Then you have to think about the learning activities or experiences to design, to create, that what will be the activity which will be integrating, or the resource will be integrated into that particular learning activity. Similarly, the assessment, how you will assess, what will be the item or the assessment strategy. whether it will be summative, formative, whether it will be one word answer, whether it will be matching, true, false, long answer, reflective item or whatever. And then the course proposal, complete design, that is starting from the title to certification. When you are talking about the development, there is a new word here, manuscript, course manuscript. Maybe one of the session will be on specifically for understanding this manuscript, but it is a kind of, again, outline of the complete proposal. Not only proposal, but the complete, you can say, the course. So you have to think about this manuscript that you have to prepare for a course, one manuscript. What will be the title? What will be the, you can say, rationale, and like that. So I will show you one example, but it will be discussed in a separate session, that how it will be developed.
Designing parts of manuscript.
Yes, means you will start with the design of the manuscript, that how it will be. The complete development will be later on, but starting will be the first content page of that manuscript will be the part of your design. Okay. Then we will think about the resources, that we have to develop the resource, as well as we have to prepare a layout or a design for mixing these resources and activities. As already mentioned, that there should be some way out or some plan that how to integrate activity with or resource with activity. Again, you can think for the other points, like what are the conditions or restrictions will be there or maybe there, which will maybe or which will be there to access the content, course content, who can access, like already discussed in detail, that if it is spoke, it is not open for all. Even in a particular platform, you can change the settings to limit the access or the, you can say, joining the course. So that kind of things you will keep in mind while you are developing your manuscript, your resources, your activities, and then your course design. Similarly, you can also keep in mind the license and the privacy policies, though it is not right now the part of discussion, but you should also keep in mind the license also, means it should be open educational resource. I am not going into the detailed discussion, but maybe you have already discussed or somewhere you know all these things, that whatever we are discussing, whatever we are creating as a resource, we should promote OERs. It should not be copyrighted things. If you want to create the environment where creativity or innovation should be promoted. So if we want to promote creativity and innovation, then we should follow the open content, open technology practices. Implementation is not very difficult point, that you will try out whatever the modifications or suggestions will come, or you will feel or you will get experience, then you will modify, and then finally you will launch the course and manage the course. Launching means you will create the course on the platform, you will upload the resources there, you will announce the course, you will create the course starting and ending date, submissions date for assignments, and many more things. So this is the point. And then evaluation means that there are 2 points related to that. One will be the learning analytics. Learning analytics will give you automatically some feedback. Suppose, as Dr. Angel was discussing, that when we join an online course, how many of us are completing that course? But this is one point. We can also get learning analytics related to the resource also. Like for example, I have uploaded 10 videos in a course. how many students are watching videos completely? How many students are watching a particular video, not watching the other video? There is a long, you can say, or there is a very detailed information kind of things there in learning analytics, which you understand that where I have to improve, where I have to focus. If I want to improve the quality of the online course, then I can analyze the learning analytics. So that is one way. Another is that you can ask, or you can get help from these questions, like were learners adequately prepared prior to the instructional programs, whether the target group was or were the people were prepared, means whatever you have given the instructions, that, like for example, in a particular course you are saying that if you want to join this particular course, you should know this, or you should have this previous knowledge or skills or competencies, or maybe sometimes you are asking some, like Dr. Angel was mentioning about the resources to use in activity. So whether students were prepared for those activities, those points or not, means whether they were having that kind of resource to conduct the activity at that place or not. So that kind of questions will give you the idea whether your course is demanding some kind of revision, some kind of, you can say, revisiting the content or the strategies or not. Have learners achieved the learning goals? Whatever you were thought, or you have designed, you have framed the objectives or learning outcomes, whether achieved or not, completely or partially. So that will give you the idea whether I have framed the very difficult or very ambitious learning outcomes, or people are not very serious. Both way. It is not only from the student's point of view or learner point of view. It can also reflect on my own, you can say, part. Means sometimes I have created or I have framed very ambitious learning outcomes, which is not possible to achieve in that particular duration or in that particular setup. So I have to reflect back on my own points, on actions. So should I repeat, should I revise those learning outcomes, or should I frame another set of learning outcomes?
Sir, is it any measurement criteria for learning goals?
Measurement criteria means what?
Learning goals at the whole or a part.
Whatever you are giving the assessment items, you are having some kind of learning outcomes, as we discussed right now, it will give you the idea whether the learning outcomes are achieved or not. If, suppose one point, have you listened the question? He is asking very valid question, is that what is the criteria to understand whether learning goals are achieved or not? Okay, so the point is, we are thinking about 2-3 ways. One is learning analytics. Learning analytics will give you the idea whether your learning goals are achieved or not. Another point is whatever you have given as an assessment or the evaluation items, or whatever tools or strategies you have used, either it is formative or summative, that will give you the idea whether students are achieving those outcomes, goals, objectives, whatever you have framed. So
Means that whenever we are preparing any course, so we should link that course with the learning outcomes.
obviously,
With the help of this topic, the child is achieving this learning outcome or competency, whatever. We have to deal with that.
you have to have, every course will have some course outcome, every unit or every, you can say, topic will have some learning outcomes.
So shall we?
It is not only for the online course, it is the normal course also, in our classroom also.
So should we focus on the only NCERT, means here it is covering all the learning outcomes. So should we focus on that, only the NCERT learning outcomes?
Now, this question is very particular about a particular topic. Suppose you are creating an online course related to a particular textbook, like 9th class mathematics textbook, for example, and you are creating a course for 3 units, means 3 chapters. not units, 3 chapters of that particular book. So obviously you will take the learning outcomes there related to these 3 chapters. Maybe you can reframe, or you can say write in your own words. Even you can also take as it is, but it is specifically related to a particular topic which you know that is the topic and these are the learning outcomes. If you don't know, if there is no learning outcome document for teacher education program, then you have to create your own. So depending upon the content, depending upon the topics, you will create your learning outcomes or objectives. But that is mandatory. Every course, whether it is online or offline, every course should have some learning outcomes or learning objectives. Okay. Okay, so these questions will help you in understanding whether we should revise our course, we should go again to think to improve the quality of the course or not. So just these questions are just to make you aware that you can ask such questions, not these questions, such questions to improve your own learning, your own online course. So that is the point related to the evaluation part. Now if we think in relation to a course, online course, how we start these, or how we think about these 5 steps. What are these 5 steps? Analysis, design, development, implement and try out. Implement and evaluation. Implement is try out, evaluation. Now I am going to discuss in relation to a course, online course. And in discussion, you may also wondering that where is these 5 steps. So sometimes it is not necessary or not compulsory that you have to have some alignment with the steps, but this will be the flow. These are the milestones which we have to achieve. We should have some course map, means for which course or for what we are creating online course. Like for example, she asked, we can take learning outcomes from the NCERT textbooks. That means either we are thinking a course which should be or which may be mapped with the NCERT textbook. Like, okay, sorry. So I am stopping here. We will start discussion after tea break from this point, that we have to achieve some milestones and how we can achieve. There are some steps. Okay, so we can take break, tea break, 15 minutes. Okay. $15 minutes. Yes.